Lifeliner keeps Maiev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Zoltite here, bringing you game an important match between East Coast and ReGen Phoenix. Both teams looking to establish position in the playoffs. Phoenix just has 2 matches left. I think them and Jailbait, so they're going to need to really perform here if they want to secure their spot, as Rush V below them just took out Buff Chen and has a few more matches that they can take to potentially bump them out. So it's a very tight race at the bottom, but very much at the top 2 as well. Beast Coast being one of the top teams right now. Haven't dropped a couple matches so far that haven't established them as a #1 team yet, but if they take a victory here, that could definitely help them on the way to securing that #1 position, or at least a top 2 or 3 finish. It's kind of what we're expecting from them. Just making sure everybody is in. Anyways, while we're at it, pop up the overview of where we're going to be going today. Looks like game #1 is going to be on Battlefield of Eternity. East Coast banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Pearl Shrines. ReGen took out Braxis and Alterac. They picked BOE, so that's where we'll be going for game #1. I think we're all ready. Alrighty. See what we can expect from these teams here. Beast Coast is one of those teams that likes to play a little bit loose with the compositions. They've got a few niche picks that a lot of people don't necessarily anticipate or know exactly what to deal with. On Battlefield of Eternity, actually, it's quite common of them to go into a Mephisto pick. This is a map that they like to play just as much as ReGen Phoenix. Phoenix is a little bit more on the Terminator Rainer. Both teams might actually be competing for that as well. But there should also be a high priority on other aspects of the draft, particularly the front line. Both tanks are going to be looking for things like ETC. We'll see if that's actually what gets banned out instead. I want to lean back. Right. We're going to start with the Alterac ban. I think that's alright. Mud is a very commonly picked hero, and BOE is one of those. I'll see if I can bring up the thing here, the statistics. Look at Alterac. Due to Merc Queen's quote-unquote what people call a bug, it was always the case with this hero. They do a lot of damage to the Immortals using the Mercenary Queen, so a good race hero. Kira is also going to be taken out, so we're going to see. Alterac is picked often, but not with a high win rate. I'm not entirely certain what Kira's popularity rate has been like this time. She's 100% with the 12%. I would expect the ban rate probably is a lot higher. Probably too. Ban rate 10%. Pick rate 2%. So yeah, extremely high ban rate. Which is somewhat expected. Tyrande is going to be our first pickup here. Not a surprise at all. I do like Tyrande. I do think that she brings a lot to this map in particular. So not a surprise to see that that is what we're going to get. On the other side, we're going to get Johanna and Artanis. As I did say before, Johanna, ETC tanks are going to be a priority for both these teams. Generally speaking, tanks are high priority in the meta. There are a very small subsection of them that are considered top tier. The rest are niche. All are pretty good, though. Artanis, though, really does amplify this map. Not a surprise to see him here. I do think Much plays Artanis outside of BOE, but I do know that he plays it here. And that gives him a bit of an advantage in the sense that it's something that he should feel pretty damn comfortable on, regardless, mechanically speaking. We did get Chen. I do like Chen. It's really good diving backliners. Now, it's a good matchup into a lot of what they can take on the backside. But if they don't take any weak backliners that are, you know, anything that's hard to dive could cause Chen some problems. What I'd really like to see maybe is a Tychus come out from ReGen Phoenix that would actually think, talking about the bans, they did remove Vala. And of course, Stukov was taken out of the way. Stukov's one of those ones that I think can be dove, but at the same time, he does kind of counter it a bit with a few of his ultimates. His auto attacks do hit pretty hard. So, like I said, Raynor was something to expect on this map. And I like Raynor. Raynor actually is pretty good into Chen. He can burn down the health bar and he's a little bit safer. Anduin, not quite what I would call a safe pick. Into what they're bringing out here. I want to take a look to see what Anduin's statistics are. They've been climbing up. So Maiev Hanzo. Maiev is a common pickup here, not as of late, as I believe Monkus believes it's a weaker hero than it has been in the past. But all the same, we're going to get it here. Very aggressive. Tyrande is a good pickup with Maiev. It'll keep him alive. And Li Ming. This is a classic race combo. Nothing to see here. Ming Raynor is pretty much a standard pairing. She can get dove by Chen pretty hard though. And I think that might be a bit of a factor. In fact, this whole team is actually very good at diving. Hanzo just stays in the back line and kind of pokes out. Yes, cooperate, please. Thank you. Alrighty, we're gonna get into game number 1. Yeah, I mean, Greymane's a good option. It definitely kind of puts you into that all-in, which, you know, could be a problem. If they play the poke game really well, it could be difficult to find angles in which to engage, but it is BOE. There are lots of places that you can sneak up on the opposing side, so yeah, I don't know. I think Hanzo is a good pick too. I don't think there's anything particularly bad about it. It gives you some race with Tyrande, which of course this composition actually lacks race quite a bit. So the thing is they want to take team fights. They can 4-1 with the Hanzo with the level 4 talent. But in general race against this squad, they don't win. Artanis Li Ming Raynor can burn down an Immortal really fast, especially if they don't go ace in the hole. which they might not go. I've seen Exterminator Rainer a heck of a lot more frequently. And a side note, there's not a lot of slows. There's Condemn, or Johanna can generate what he needs, but it's not like they paired it with a Jaina or something that amplifies that slowing amount. So, without a whole lot of CC, which they do have less of, Rainer's ability to get a lot out of that talent could be somewhat limited. Well, on the red side of the map, we have Beast Coast Secret 333 on the Chen, Mega Muffin playing Hanzo, Among Us on the Mayav, Gingy Boy on the Diablo, and Saris playing Tehran. And on the other side of the map, we have ReGen Phoenix Murder on the Rainer, Arrow playing Johanna, Darabo playing Li Ming, Arya on the Anduin, and Mudge playing the Artanis. He likes them Protoss. The Protossiest Protoss. And there is going to be an initiation onto Johanna. Doesn't do a whole lot, and both sides eat some damage for it. Both healers having to do a little bit of work to get them back up. Monk is taking a huge burst from Darabo there. I mean, Artanis is one of those few heroes that dueling into Chen is actually going to be pretty good. Chen doesn't have the same sustain he used to with his trait. Whereas Artanis, especially once he starts getting his talents and raise, is going to actually flat out win that. But of course, you don't have to win top lane. It's basically a stalemate. You do have a bit of a wave advantage here on this side. But on the bottom half of the map, it's looking like it's pretty even. Oops. So Artanis is going to go right for that, and it'll be interesting to see how the little that thing actually is going to help out. And actually, look at that. I'm kind of wrong. I don't know. I want to kind of watch this just to see. We're going to see rotation coming from both sides. I think in the end, Mudge does win that fight. We do have Monkus coming in here, so it'll be interesting. 40 health. They do get the kill. Because he did the swap, they lost the camp too as well, so. I wonder if they ran murder up there to actually get the kill. Because Rainer's actually really good at securing kills there, and he's actually really good in Mayav. Mayav doesn't like fighting Rainer. Mayav can deal with her because he can just dodge like the missiles or the orb, and then once she's got that, or you know, just as long as he dodges the missiles, honestly, the orb doesn't do a whole lot in close range. He wins that fight, but even there, he ate it. Although here comes the invade coming in from Beast Coast. Gonna see if they can grab this camp away. It's looking pretty good for them. Mudge is getting really low again. He does go down, but we get the reset. Arrow doing his best to stay alive here. They get a second reset. That's gonna be third reset and probably a fourth reset. So that invade did not go well for Beast Coast. ReGen Phoenix recovering nicely and taking the victory. And with a nice and quick race comp here before anyone's even close to respawn, they're going to get this thing to halftime. That was a little bit exaggerated. But because they spent their time on that camp, they had already got theirs, so it makes sense. So the race is in. Hanzo, I don't think, has... Yeah, if it was a flat-out 1v1, I think Chen dies there. I don't think that he lived. This is odd to say, because Chen generally is winning a lot of these 1v1s. So they come in for both orbs. The stuns are enough probably to cause some issues for Mudge. He swaps himself out. Oh, it just uses his blade dash, and then he gets the leap of faith to get him out. But yeah, sorry about my stream quality. It seems to be having issues as of late. I'm not entirely certain what the case is, but it looks like just a small bump, which is good. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but there isn't a whole lot I can do. Front wall is gonna go down, but that looks like they're all gonna get all they're gonna get. So a really good defense from Beast Coast. ReGen Phoenix really didn't want to step up there, and it looks like they might get a pick off on Arrow. I think his trait's already gone. Yeah, he's dead. And map control's gonna kind of go back to Beast Coast, and they're actually ahead in EXP. So with that kill. Legend. Secret duking it out. The tap, though, comes out from Mudge. He was out of range to get those experience, so that's not good. So just little bits of minions here and there kind of costing ReGen Phoenix a bit in the macro side of things. So I'll have to pay attention to your macro on this map. It's not as important as other maps, but it's still an important factor. This Rainer standing against a wall is going to get hit by the Diablo, but they are going to eat quite a bit of damage for their trouble. Both sides getting nice and healed up, but really, Beast Coast still kind of maintaining control of this bottom lane. They're well ahead when it comes down to the experience. It's odd to see where they're getting ahead all these little bits, but half a level considering they lost the last objective in the last front wall, and honestly they've only killed what? They haven't killed even a tower on this side, and they're behind in kills. It just seems like ReGen Phoenix must be missing some EXP somewhere. Those two tower kills are going to put them even further ahead. There goes the dive under the fort. That might cost Gingy Boy some of his health bar, but he seems fine. I think it's a fully stacked Diablo, so he doesn't really care. Or close to, anyways. Sitting at roughly about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 health. And he's gonna eat pretty much all the shots he wants. And this is always a pretty rough spot for Li Ming to be in because you're not gonna be able to get kill in. But look at that rotation from ReGen Phoenix. They get right onto the objective and just crush it when it comes down to that. But 10s are picked up. And realizing this, they might have to give up some health. Although the rotation's coming out of Mudge, and he doesn't see it, but it's not. Yeah, Diablo was a little slow. It means he wasn't able to do anything, and that gives them a window here to just kind of poke this out. They're gonna walk back out. I think Arrow's just gonna trait, walk away. I like how ReGen Phoenix is playing this, and now they hit 10s. That pretty large experience lead pretty much amounted to nothing as they were able to stall it out. Bad rotation to the top, didn't get a kill. The rotation cost them this damage, but here's the big engage. And that's going to be a good kill onto the Rainer. They get a lot of this health bar down though, and only one kill with all those ultimates kind of has me a little bit worried. Daribo does get attacked by Gingy Boy. There's the follow-up stun. Only lands onto Mudge. And they still don't even have this halfway down. Meme Strike's going to come out and full-on hit Artanis. He's actually in trouble. Full engagement coming in, but Li Ming is going to finish this off. And again, I really do like how ReGen Phoenix is kind of approaching this. They don't know why you Calamity'd in there, Daribo. But he has Aether Walker, so he doesn't care. We'll pop up the talent so everyone can kind of see what's been going on so far. Flash Shield, Hyperion, Light Bomb, Wave of Force, and Purifier Beam. So Purifier Beam instead of the Suppression Pulse, but makes sort of sense, although their major DPS are all auto attack based at their core, so kind of odd not to see Suppression Pulse there, but I guess Purification Salvo will get some sort of value. I mean, who's it gonna hit? Almost all of them can outrange it. They can just kind of kite it around without being too limited in effectiveness. We'll see. Maiev is probably a good target, though. Yeah, she can dodge, but you catch her when she's engaged. It's really hard for her to change direction. She goes one way and just kind of stuck to that. So, despite all the good plays we saw for ReGen Phoenix, they're still feeling timid and not allowing them, they're not grabbing themselves any map control. And you could probably argue what the difference here is in experience probably comes down to the mercenary camps, and actually we kind of see it. Everywhere else, they're pretty much even. No, the minions too is a big deal. 1,500 experience they've lost to minions. It's a lot. And then they're down about 1,000 in mercenaries. And they got caught on a big engage, though. Lots of damage coming in. That's going to be a reset. This could be a problem here if they catch Diablo with any of that. Maiev, though, finds a exposed Li Ming who is trying to secure the kill on the Diablo. That's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Beast Coast. So. Not what you want to see. Where'd they kill Chen? Was that bottom lane, Mudge? Winning that 1v1? So for the first time in this game, we actually do see Beast Coast as the first ones on the shrine. But whether that matters or not is kind of up to the is a big question mark, because they barely won that halftime show and they were there a full 5 seconds prior. So we'll see how the race goes. Chen's finally arrived, so I think they might be able to catch it, but as you can see there, it's both sides are going down super fast. But it was Beast Coast that pulls off the victory this time, so it's ReGen Phoenix that has to defend. Meanwhile, bottom lane has a pretty good wave going, but Chen is going to get here in time to clear this up, so nothing too severe to worry about. Mudge isn't even going to go down there and match him. He's just going to try to put the 5v4 in the top lane and see if they can deal with this Immortal before it gets any serious value. So Hyperion's going to come out and help with the defense on that. Zone targets out, get a little bit extra damage on, get some damage on the Immortal and any of the waves coming in. There's the cage into Dragon Strike on the Murder. He dodges, or she dodges the raw Tehran stun that came out. They've done a pretty good job here. I mean, the fort was a foregone conclusion. All the major talents are down, but unfortunately Artanis, I guess, swapped himself or got pulled in by Monkus, and that's going to cost him a kill there. Immortal is gone. We saw Gingy Boy, though, go right over the tower. It's a little bit risky. Tehran's going to go down, and now resets are available again. We'll see if they can make anything else happen. Panda Pals are in the way. So, fort and front wall with a couple kills is definitely going to put them even farther ahead. 16's right around the corner for Beast Coast. ReGen Phoenix getting into desperation mode as they have been falling behind in the macro, so... You know, if you fall behind in the macro in some of these situations, it's not the end of the world. But the problem really comes out is whether you're able to secure the objective. And since they've been kind of lacking that ability to secure the last objective, things snowball ahead. Yeah, keeping up pretty well in damage. Macro, of course, is very good. Yeah, Bonds of Justice, viable build. Pinned down, as you can see, though, is still not completed. So, I like Bonds of Justice. I'm not a huge fan of Pinned Down. I still think Blade Dance gets more value, but Monkus and I can argue about that as much as he wants later. I don't really care. It can be good if you get it early. If you don't get it early, it doesn't do very much. It just seems like a talent. The Blade Dance would get that value in a lot of those engagements and get that immediate upfront damage. Whereas Pinned Down isn't doing anything yet. I guess there's some slight. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong. Maybe I don't understand the tooltip. Good fight, though. We're going to see the channel come out, though, because he was about to go down. Gingy Boy is just absolutely low as fuck. And he gets the flip over with 50 health that keeps him alive. Rainer goes down. That's going to be 2 for nothing. That was a close one. I mean, Diablo did almost die. But the rest of the team just kind of got massacred after the channel. And Li Ming did not manage to win that 1v1. Just needed to land one extra missile. That was probably it. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I could take a look at the tooltip again. I guess if you get 2 stacks of it, it's a 50% increase to Fan of Knives, which is not necessarily bad. Good pressure from Beast Coast. Realizing they did have 5 people or 4 people down, so, and all that was left is a healer. So definitely with that open lane, especially with the catapult pressure, they were definitely looking to get an easy keep there. And Phoenix has definitely gone from a better spot to a worse spot, and that swap not getting him what he wanted. It did not pull anyone in place. Ninja Boy is super low, though. He did take a lot of damage stepping up onto this wall, but I mean, this Immortal is full shielded, so if this doesn't get a keep, I would be surprised. He's going to get healed back up, which he is so far doing. Monkus drops Warden's Cage again, followed up with an APOC that all lands onto Darabo, and that is the target you want it to hit. So that's going to be a kill. He goes down. Murder not much in better spot, but 2 dead already. Immortal's shield's just coming off now, and I think this is probably writing on the wall. Lots of air pressure being applied to Arrow there. He's doing his best to stay alive, but the channel ult doing too much work. And yeah, with that combo there, flip, charge, plus a full shots from the arrows. It's going to guarantee the victory here. That's going to be game number 1. Beast Coast. So there you go. I mean, I guess it could be good. So Fan of Knives gets, if you only hit it 2 times, which was what he was sitting at most of the game, you're at 30% increase, and an additional 2 more times to put you at 40. And if you get a 4-man hit, you get the 40% up front. I don't know. I think you could maybe make an argument that it is pretty good. I like thinking about these things critically. It's one of those skill questions, feast or famine. But it really, I mean, if you play Maiev a lot, hitting 3 heroes with that isn't the hardest thing to do in the world. It's just difficult to do it consistently. But I mean, 3 at one time isn't always the easiest thing to do. Hop us back to the stats really quick, and then I'll find out where we're going for game number 2. Welcome back, everybody, to the stream. Game number 2 on our way. We have ReGen Phoenix and Beast Coast going at it for another game here. Game number 1 going to Beast Coast. Late game was pretty convincing. Decent composition, lots of good aggro. The Chen ults definitely seemed oppressive in the late game. But a lot of good combos, and Dragon Strike getting some good value with the Warden's Cage, so if you feel like you don't need the CC, it seemed to work out, getting that bit of extra damage in every single time it came out. We're going to be on our way to Sky Temple. This is a map choice by ReGen Phoenix, so I guess that they decided they would rather be making map choice. And without a lot of hesitation, we're going to get right into the game.
You're mine now.
Sky Temple, a different map for sure. Just because feeling like Johanna was the problem, and they're going to ban it right here and now. Staying true to form, Sylvanas is going to be removed here. Alarak again removed. Yeah, we saw Beast Coast using Sylvanas for push comps a lot. So not a surprise that they're just going to ban it out. Been effective. Though I think it was Heroes of the United States that showed them that you can't totally get away with that forever. Falstad was the follow-up ban. Okay, so actually I'm wrong about... No, I was right. Okay, never mind. So Abathur is going to be the first pick on Sky Temple. Strong pickup. We're going to see the Greymane removal kind of from that. It's strong. And I have to go over onto the other side, and I can't really do a lot of statistics here because they're just flying through this draft too fast. It's a full-on macro. That's all I can see out of all of those picks on the side of Beast Coast. Kind of a similar vein on the side of ReGen Phoenix with Greymane and Azbanan. Azbanan is very late-game macro hero. I don't generally feel like it's like the best pick on this map, but I don't really play Azmodan, so it's not my call. And kind of sticking with the Stukov ban, the only real adjustment from Beast Coast was that Johanna. And Zeratul is going to get banned out. That's going to be followed up with Tyrael and a Morales. So I get what they're planning here. I don't agree with it. I get this map is the best place to pull this off. As the objective, like, flat out encourages you to do this, but at the same time, I am concerned that Azmodan isn't the right pick, but at the same time, that Legion of Hell might be a big factor into its success rate. So I don't run the comp, so I'm not really going to comment too much further on it. People that do it more frequently than me can go ahead and figure that one out. The Medivh Abathur with the Ragnaros ETC. I mean, this is a wild draft. Mudge is going to stay on the Artanis, and again, if you're running Juice Pirates, it kind of makes sense. I agree. What the Medivh brings to this is Leyline Seal. They banned out the Zeratul specifically to avoid the Void Prison because it causes problems with this composition. Leyline does very much the same thing. Another thing you can do with Medivh is you can hunt down the team that's trying to do it, right? They have to try to like medvac from really safe distance. If you're aggressively on their map and can pinpoint out where they're going to be doing their jump, you can a lot of times just get right on top of it, blow up the medvac, and then you blow up the medvac, there is no strategy. It just doesn't work. Well, without further ado, we're going to get into game number 2, Beast Coast versus ReGen. On the blue side, we have Beast Coast, Monkus on the Ragnaros, Gingy Boy on the ETC, Saris on the Ana, Abathur being played by Secret, and of course, we have the Bird, Medivh Man, being played by Mega Muffin. On the red side, we have ReGen Phoenix area on the Morales, Murder playing Tyrael. Okay, I got I got trolled and didn't pay attention to the swaps. I guess I didn't believe the swap, so once I saw the swap, I was like, oh, they'll just swing it back. Wrong. So ignore the graphic. It is incorrect. Morales has left, though, the building. But anyways, Darabo on the Greymane. Yeah, It's on the Asmodan. Murder's playing Tyrael, Mudge on the Artanis, and Arya on the Morales. Back in action. So the rotation comes out to make sure that they can't just push down top port towers for free. Pop up the talents briefly so people can see the level 1. It is going to be greed. No stacks on it yet. Turbo getting just wrecked by Medivh. I guess Medivh out, but there can be quite frustrating. Business as usual in the bottom lane. Not generally what you consider the off lane, but considering the focus in this top from ReGen Phoenix, not exactly the biggest surprise. Oddly enough, it's ReGen Phoenix that is ahead when it comes to the macro, or at least they're keeping even despite having 4 members into the top lane here. Early camp's going to get good value, though. They're probably going to be able to take out both towers. And if they're securing top, that's going to help out a lot. Mudge trying to fight a Monkus Ragnaros with an Avatar hat. Not generally a winning trade there. You might as well just allow him to take it. Monkus does feel like he might be overextended here, or he just sees a weak Mudge and is like, well, we can get the kills. But yeah, that's a great value, actually, out of that first camp in the top lane. And a nice early bruiser is good into Avatar comps, especially this one. Where without Ragnaros, their ability to clear out camps is extremely limited. Well, here's the pressure on a Mega Muff, and he actually takes a ton of damage from Greymane there. Though Greymane seems to be maybe getting a little bit too far ahead. Yeah, he's gonna die. I think after failing that initial engagement, he probably wants to back out there. I mean, he's looking to really get the resets and get the kill on Murder. That's not gonna happen, but I mean, ReGen Phoenix still played this out pretty well. They got almost all of the top shrine, and they've gotten a great amount of the mid one too as well, so. But on the contrast, we do have a large amount of experience gained here with the Avatar, so. The bottom camp kind of pushing up this wall is good and bad thing. The good thing is you're probably going to get structure damage. The bad thing is that you pushed up the wave a lot easier for Avatar to safe soak. So none of that going on to the heroes. I know you're, and they're going to be able to maybe drop this fort, but no. Mule plus Molten Core is going to keep it alive. But the pressure up here is still pretty good, but it looks like Murder might die here. Hard to say. Good fort defense. Garbo got a lot of good pressure there, though. And knowing kind of that position, they should feel pretty confident walking in and grabbing the rest of this fort. And that's what they're looking for. They just want the fort down. They don't really care about anything else. This is Juice Pirates, after all. I'm sort of surprised with the 5-man in the top lane that Beast Coast isn't farther ahead. So the camp invade comes through, they do steal it before anyone can mount a response. And they're doing a pretty good job. They're going to push up this bottom lane now. Gonna get some pressure onto Gingy, or onto Mudge using the power slide, but with his own personal shields and the Morales beam, he's gonna stay alive. And it's Greymane that's handling kind of the macro. He's hunting for an Abathur. He might even catch one out. I don't even know. We'll see. He did not manage to dive on it in time, which is unfortunate. I think if he was more actively hunting for the Abathur there, he probably would have got the kill. Rotation comes in on Monkus. They don't have a lot of lockdown. So getting the kill here is going to be difficult. Greymane's hard pushing up this top lane though. Doing a pretty good job of it. It's going to be hard for East Coast to push up onto this objective at all. Because as soon as they make that rotation, we're going to see the level 10s come through, and that'll be it. It's going to be the medvac into the top lane, and that's going to be a dead keep. So they have to... It's an interesting, like, spot you get forced into with this composition. You don't want to fall behind in structures the way you have already on this map, generally speaking. Good. The lava wave might cause them some problems here, but they're not even going to go for it yet. They're just going to soft siege mid. And the thing is that's it. All they really have here is the threat. They're going to drop this fort, get Leyline Seal to come out, but it doesn't work against a medvac. Stage dive is going to come through, but so is Sanctification. And that with the Demon Army is going to cause some issues. Now, Ragnaros is going to get a huge stun here. And he's defending against this well, but I do think that this keep's still going to go down as long as they keep the focus on it. Maybe not. Nope, looks like it was a reasonably good defense here.
Red team dominated.
But that keep's going to go down really fast the next time they get this. And Monkus can't Molten Core the core. So they're going to do what they have to do here, which is they're not going to go for the objective. They don't want to push that ahead. What they want to do is grab a boss here, but do they have the tools to siege with this is really kind of the question. Yeah, the Sanctification did come out early, and it didn't really land on anyone. You know, it was, I mean, it landed on the whole team, but like you said, there was no abilities coming through. But they're already over here. And so, but they don't have Sanctification up. They have Suppression Pulse. Arrow's doing his best to put pressure here. No ultimates available, but they want to use the death timers to their advantage. Did they get anything out of this push? It looks like they do. And yeah, I just don't know if if they have the tools to really deal with this on the side of Beast Coast in the end. Boss is going to take bottom fort, but it's not going to get much more than that. They can try to get to the other side of the map to push this up, but they'll have everybody up in time, and if they overcommit to this side of the map, well, they're just going to lose their core. So it's one of those weird things, and now there's a problem. Yeah, Mule's going to come out to try to save the core, but now all the ults are up. Like, they got all this done without using any ults. And they're already getting in position for defense because they're expecting this to happen, right? And that's exactly what's happening. But can they do anything about it? Oh, they do kill the Grey Mane immediately. There is no sanctification that comes out. Leyline Seal is going to stop some of this pressure from coming out. Great stun. These defenses are good. The sanctification was too late. Didn't actually happen. It got stunned out. But it should have happened earlier in that instance because they were ready for them, so... Mule's going to come back out, though, and cause some problems here. But sanctification is still up. And they did still get more percentage down. It is now down to 28%. So they just respawn and then they try again. Levels are starting to get pretty crazy different, though. And this is the one thing about Juice Pirates. Abathur will be able to double or to soak this, and they're just going to keep hard pushing at this core. I'm concerned about this play. But Molten Core is down. Leyline Seal is down. Lava Wave is down. Sanctification has to come out. It doesn't come out again. I mean, this is really costing them. But it looks like they're still going to get the win anyways, so. GG. Juice Pirates wins the game. Blah, blah, blah. Eh. I mean, it works, so keep doing it, right? I mean, they didn't have the tools to deal with it in the end. Cooldowns are too long. I would say it was misplayed, and they still didn't really manage to get anything done there. And I feel like it's because they weren't actively hunting for them. They were just piling up over the end, just watching an inevitability of it. And that's just... I just don't think that's how you wanted to go. Yep, well, GG. I mean, ReGen Phoenix has to get these victories. Like, flat out has to win. So, if Juice Pirates is what you got to do to get it, then go for it. I mean, that's just the way it is. If they pick another big map like that, I doubt that they're going to get the pick again. Yeah, early, because they banned Zeratul in the 3rd phase. I agree. They took the bottom boss. You just pushed that out, but they didn't have siege damage. So what do? You just kind of have to sit there and defend. Alrighty, we're gonna go to We'll Be Back screen while we set up game number 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the stream. Here we are for game number 3 between Beast Coast and ReGen Phoenix after a spicy game number 2 on Sky Temple with Juice Pirates. We're going to be going to Cursed Hollow. This map pick again by ReGen Phoenix. Another big map where Juice Pirates works. But knowing that, I'm pretty sure Beast Coast is just going to ban out the Morales, and then that's it. There's no more Juice Pirates. If you can't med back in, it doesn't exist. So yeah, we'll see what we get out of this. I'm ready to go. We'll see if everybody else is. Yeah, they didn't really have a response to it. It was... You could tell that they were planning on doing something else on Sky Temple, and then they were just like, oh, it's Juice Pirates. I think that might even explain the Medivh more than anything else. They might have been going for it anyways, but honestly, I think they tried to use the Medivh as their major form of stall. But as we saw, it wasn't really enough. Mule was pretty good, but again, it's kind of a losing strat. You're just kind of playing to not lose. It's Reign of Destruction. Reign of Vengeance is a Vala talent, John Knight. Reign of Destruction, though, is really good at deleting structures, and I agree. It's like what you were doing with Asmodan on that map, but way better in the structure damage department. Alarak banned again. Dragonshire. Why did I think for some reason this was Cursed Hollow? I'm silly. Oh, jeez. Dum. Gonna update that. I don't know if it really works here. I think they might dare them to do it, to be honest. This is an odd Juice Pirates map. The reason is that it's smaller. It's a lot easier to respond to it, and it's also harder to find those. I mean, I guess you can basically spawn from your base to fly in, but I don't know. I imagine that the rotations are good. You could go top lane, which is the longest lane, but then you have to... I don't know. I guess it could work here. I don't know. I'm not really a Juice Pirates player, so ask somebody that is. John Knight seems to feel like an expert in the draft, so if you want to ask him if this is the map, then that's probably better. Sylvanas, Kira have been pretty much the go-tos. Alarak, Chromie's a bit of an interesting choice. I like it. Chromie is good on this map, I think. Good at holding bot lane. See Terrace back on the Tyrande. And I do think I agree with the assessment that Anna wasn't a great choice in the last composition. She didn't bring anything there that really solved the problems. Falstad and Johanna, making sure that Johanna doesn't get removed. It was not banned out this time. Well, Falstad's alright on this map. It can give you... I don't like him in top lane. I do like him as a mid laner. Because what you do with the false stat in the mid lane is you can fly to top or bot wherever you need to get that immediate pressure. So if you can find a pick in the top lane, you do the fly top. If you can get the picks or the odd man advantage in the bot lane, you fly down bot. So like, there's definitely some good advantages to false stat on this map. Now we're gonna get Gul'dan and Zul. They're gonna ban the Stukov. I'd like to see that Zul matched with Malthael. You need something that can keep up in the double soak, or you have to take things that can gank. And I do actually like the Falstad for this, because if you mid lane with Falstad, he can fly up and kill Zul whenever he tries to go for the objective. You eliminate that, the experience advantage is gone, and even if you lose bottom structure, you're going to find a way to get ahead. So that's going to be followed up with Sonya. And Lunara. I like Lunara generally speaking. She's a good hero. Cassia is going to be the pickup there for Mega Muffin. And Garrosh. I've seen the Garrosh has come out before. Kind of odd as ETC was still available. But if you're feeling more comfortable with the Garrosh here, go for it. It's going to be Anna. I mean, this is a safer composition for Ana. She's not going to be able to be pressured too hard unless she overextends. I don't know. We got good drafts on both sides. Definitely have our top laner. We've got a nice mid lane. Falstad. But we also see a really strong bottom lane on Beast Coast. They're pretty good at doing it. Yeah, it's just flat out what the strategy is, no doubt about it. I like the false stab because you can put pressure onto Zul. But it doesn't deal with the 4-man. Not without Gust into towers, which is a strategy that we can definitely expect to be explored. But without further ado, let's start out on the blue side. We have Beast Coast, Monkus on the Gul'dan, Gingy Boy on the Garrosh, Mega Muffin playing Cassia, Saris on the Tehran, and Secret playing Zul. On the other side, we have ReGen Phoenix, Murder on the Lunara, Darabo playing Falstad, Arrow playing Johanna, Arya on the Anna, and Mudge playing Sonya.
Fight well, heroes.
And we can already see the 4-man's just going to pressure up here. They're going to feel pretty much invincible. Like, they're going to flat out feel like they can't die here, so. And in the bot lane right now, especially with Lunara at level 1, I don't think that they're wrong here. They are taking a good amount of damage, though. Murder doing a good job getting that damage spread and consistent. I mean, Lunara's wave clear isn't insane until you hit, like, level 4 at least. But definitely level 7 with either Choking Pollen or Splintered Spear. And that stuff's going to take a while to come online. So we can see Falstad is doing a pretty good job though here. What it's doing is it's limiting his ability to rotate. And I think they need to take that experience advantage that they're getting here and rotate this 5-stack down here and put pressure onto the rest of these heroes. They're getting a lot done in the bottom lane. There's a flip onto Arrow, but here comes the flank and it's going to be good. Jinji is going to go down. I don't think he can live through this. Although, here I am wrong. Cassia's zoned out the backline really hard, and that actually kept them alive. He's now going to be the one taking the damage, and I think if they can follow this up with some good sustained healing. Saris is tapped out. Like, he doesn't have any good save tools left over. I do like Sonya too as well against Zul. Sonya does put pressure onto Zul. And if she just follows him and puts the pressure on, his double soaking is not safe. Arrow, though, I think he's already traded out, and that's going to be a kill. I don't think he can survive here, and that is going to be it. Yeah, Falstad breaking off to get this camp, I don't think was the right call there at all. I think if he stayed in that fight, they actually get the kill, and Arrow doesn't die. Or at least if he dies, they trade it out. But instead, they lose a front wall, lose a hero, and they lose the well. So really good control. But I do like how Mudge has been playing this up until this point. Now he's getting behind in the swap. What he doesn't need to do is get into the double soaking against Zul. What he needs to do is get into either getting the pressure onto Zul in the rotation, or getting that 5-man fight into the bottom lane. Lunara is going to ramp up though, and it's going to be much, much harder for Tyrande to deal with it. I do think that the Lunara pick was clever. It does make it hard for them to win out in the later game stages with the Tyrande. Her healing is just not suited for dealing with the amount of damage Lunara can output. But Arrow, again, has to trade out, but he's going to get pressured hard here, and I don't think he's going to walk away. So that's another kill on Arrow, and things going from bad to worse here in the bottom lane. And again, there's no focus. Falstad staying in the mid lane. Sonya looking too much to match Zul, and they should really just worry about either getting a pick on him or just trying to find that advantage here in the bottom lane with a 5-man rotation. There's been several opportunities that he could have done that. I'm just thinking that later is where we want to see it. They have to do one or two things. So with bottom fort down, it looks like ReGen Phoenix has kind of resorted to changing up the strategy here. They're like, well, there's no way they're going to push down here because it's unsafe. So now we're just going to go focus top lane. Secret, though, is sitting behind his wall. That's not really going to be a good spot for him to get good pressure. But here's the thing. They do have a bruiser camp pushing into this bottom lane. And Falstad, though, got caught out. Looks like Darbo's going to go down, and with that kill, that's a huge advantage. And this bottom lane's in trouble. Yeah, they're just not playing I don't think that was the right call. Putting 3 people top and just allowing them to have free control over the bottom lane. Especially with Falstad getting picked off, it just makes things very terrible for them. Johanna's not even down here to help support this. It's flat out just trying to stall out the mid lane so they don't lose here. And that is really what we're looking at here. Is the risk is that that ReGen Phoenix loses here. If that Dragonite comes through and they already have a keep down, you can go right for core. So I like, Beast Coast is definitely showing what they know about this map, and they're playing to its strengths. Arrow's so low. How is he going to get out of this? He can only stall this. He can't stall this any longer. That's going to be Dragonite. And they're almost about to hit 10s. And it's unfortunate because ReGen Phoenix at the beginning of the stages was doing good. They do get a kill onto Cassia though. Mudge getting some good value there. With that kill on Cassia, they can feel a little bit more okay with stepping up into this Dragonite. All they have is Gul'dan. Fear isn't alone going to win the team fights. They have to have the follow-up for it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll pop up the talents. Yeah, I honestly think the biggest misplay Phoenix has made this game was the fact that they had 2 opportunities where they had advantage on the soak, but here's a good engagement. We see Mudge actually finding a pick onto Gul'dan. Actually, it was Murder that got the leaping strike that finished it off, but the Sonya flank did a lot there, and we have really low health targets here on the side of Beast Coast. They could throw away their advantage here. Like, they flat out didn't get anything done with that Dragonite. It got a mid lane and some of the fort. Whoop-de-doo. So, good defense. Yeah, I was just saying that if all things went well in the bottom lane, where they were able to pressure up harder onto that keep, and then grab a Dragonite and walk it free into that lane, it was a scary position to be in. But ReGen's recovered. They've definitely been able to... They're not doing well structurally, but the fact that they've been able to level out experience is actually good. That's good for them. They're getting invaded here on the other side of the map. The four-man's always going to stick to each other. One good thing about this prediction, or a nice gust, is actually going to make sure that they can steal this camp. A lot being spent here for this camp. Fear comes out, but they do get the pull in onto Lunara. That's the last target you want to get hit, but she almost gets out. The leaping strike took her over the wall. But Darabo, looking to finish off those kills, overextends, finds himself dead. And that's a good 2-for-1 exchange. Or sorry, 2 for none. I would say that they had kind of gotten away with a lot there. But the Lunara getting hit with the Valkyrie was unfortunate. Good thing though is a 13. If he takes the right talent, abolish magic, it should be fine. Mudge is getting pressured out here. He has Wrath up. That fight actually is his favorite, I think, with Wrath up. Kind of interesting that they didn't go for the fight there. Feeling a little bit nervous into that Cassia, and I really think that Sonya wins that fight. So they're just going to walk away from this because they don't have 13s. It is super close. There's another pull onto Murder, and she's going to be able to leap strike out of it, though. But is going to go down. But I still think the rest of this team fight is kind of in favor of ReGen Phoenix. They get the kill on Monkus. Things are not looking good for Beast Coast. That's actually going to be another kill onto... No, he's going to walk away. And they're not going to be able to control... Wait, why is Sonya down here? They won the fight. Alright, take the bottom... what they need to do here is take the bottom camp and push up with it. Death timer's really low, and it's going to be easy to defend for Beast Coast, but they kind of forfeited all of their advantage in the top lane for that late rotation from Sonya. Good throw. Arrow is big trouble. But that gate is low, so they should be able to get him out of there. 3-man taunt. And a Valkyrie right on top of Murder. She goes for the leaping strike. Hits the wall and dies. Didn't even need it, to be honest. Could have probably just walked away. Mudge putting a lot of pressure onto Monkus, but is under a fort. And that's not going to go well for them. And ReGen Phoenix now, with that aggression on the fort, unfortunately, is going to find themselves behind. Darabo has no mana left. He's going to be lucky if he gets out of it. Arrow, I don't think has trait. Heals are going to come out. Good throw is probably going to secure the kill, though. Yeah, he's going to go down. Falstad's going to fly top, though. Secure this. I feel this is a misplay by Beast Coast. The camp's fine, but they should have just cleared the wave up and pushed up onto this keep. 2 down, 1 split in the top lane. Fly was used. They didn't really have any reason not to push their advantage there. So I think a bit of a mistake there. Yeah, I mean, Lunar was out scot-free. She had no reason to leap there. I think it was a panic button because she didn't realize that was the case. But flat out just kind of gave them the kill. I do want to pop up the talents again because I'm actually not entirely certain if we got Abolish Magic, which did. And they had hit 13. I mean, she could have Abolished Magic herself out of Valkyrie anyways. They do get the turnaround here. The rotation's going to come through. It's going to land. Nice dodge there by Murder. Finally, and that's the thing with Lunara, she can dodge that ult. It's not a particularly difficult ult. They're going to have to go mid here, but I don't think they're going to make it in time. Zul's going to pick up this Dragon Knight, and that is going to be the second Dragon Knight of the game. Going to Beast Coast. They didn't want to hard commit to the fight in bottom because they didn't have 16s, which I understand. Unfair Advantage is going to come out, which should help them quite a bit here on this defense. That level 16 talent is still one of the most broken talents in the game. Any amount of CC can do an absolute ridiculous amount of job, but they are in threat of losing the game here, so we're going to need something come out. The keep's going to go down, but if they push up here for victory, the Fear gets whiffed. This is the absolute best case scenario for ReGen Phoenix. They want to take it to them here. Dragon Knight is gone. And now things are actually looking terrible for Beast Coast. They did get a keep. So losing a couple heroes here for a keep is not really like a terrible thing. But if they can get more than even just a couple, that's actually going to work out for them. And actually their attempt to peel off Mudge from Saris is probably going to get secret killed here. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get away. Oh my gosh, why does it keep doing that? All right, my bad. Take the fort. Take the fort. Fort has got to go down here. Yeah, Arrow just walks through. He can trade through the damage. You have Nature's Culling with Lunara. Not only can they take the fort, but with this, they should be able to push up on the keep and actually equalize this. They'll lose mid fort, but who cares? Yeah, they actually have death timers in their favor here. They can actually go for the keep. ReGen Phoenix pulling this back. Yeah, I don't think the disengage was that good, actually. They could take the keep. Oh, man. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. It was risky. I mean, they did have a 4-man pull up, but it was a 4v5 in the bot lane. Keep or no, they definitely have an advantage there. Top lane's going to push down because that camp now. But I think what they want to do here is try to take this 5v4. They find the advantage. Valkyrie's still down. Lunara in a bit of a bad spot, but does find Monkus. And actually, the Gust might actually help them here more than hurt. Unfortunately, Mega Muffin is really low, but Murder got like almost killed there. It's unfortunate. Monkus was almost dead. One of those areas where you make the argument for choking Pollen, because I think with that extra bit of burst damage, he was dead. There's no way he lives there. You know, generally my choice between choking Pollen and Splintered Spear kind of depends entirely on the finishing power I have on the rest of the team. If I have anything that does some good like upfront burst damage, then generally speaking, Splintered Spear is probably in the end a better talent. But in those situations where you've got Falstad, he probably has Boomerang, but if it's already spent and it's not going to line up exactly every single time you throw it out. No, they didn't. Yeah, so this is exactly why I would have gone Choking Pollen instead of Splintered Spear. Flat out. Sonya, though, in trouble. It's going to die. That's unfortunate. You don't want to be feeding kills at this stage of the game, especially with Dragon Knight up. That's going to be a big advantage they're going to have for 50 seconds. They do take top fort, which again doesn't matter. Top fort is not a non-factor. Mid fort is going to give them a bit of an advantage here in the trickle soak up to level 20s. But ReGen Phoenix still not out of it yet. But the problem here is Dragon Chimes are available. Level 20s are available. They don't have a bottom keep. And they still have Sonya dead for 22 seconds. They have to, exactly, burn fly to the top lane because they have to stall this out. He's getting hit by a catapult over the wall just because the catapult spotted him when he flew. If they can stall out to 20s long enough to get epic mount, that would actually be huge. They're going to have to make this rotation into the bottom lane, and I don't know if it's going to be fast enough. Yeah, I think it's going to be too slow. So your choices are lose Dragon Knight or take a pre-20 fight. And they're just going to lose Dragon Knight. Maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. Oh, he stalled it out. That was epic. A must-needed stall. If that did not happen there, it was basically GG. You can't take a level 20 right to the core. Like, yeah, almost 20-minute Dragon Knight right to the core is an absolute terrible thing. Please have taken the epic mount. Nope. Wind Tunnel. It's like Wind Tunnel's good, guys, but epic mount would keep you ahead in this game and get ahead on rotation. But they did manage to stall at top lane. Top lane's also a problem because there's a huge wave plus a camp there. Arrow is going to get hit by Fear, but he trades through it, and that's actually the go button time. And all of that burst damage to come out on Amonkhet, he is in big trouble, and he does go down. That is a big taunt, though. They get the counter kill onto Falstad, and the pressure being applied onto the backline is not looking good. They can't even step up. That is a kill. Mega Muffin gets it. That is going to be it, I think. Unfortunate for ReGen Phoenix. They really found a good kill there. But unfortunately, Cassia just goes off and gets everything done. You actually see Mega Muffin did work on this match. 75,000 damage. Cassia, I think, was under-respected a lot on the damage department. A lot more was put into Gul'dan than probably was necessary. Maybe they should have actually been looking for those counter kills with Fear down onto... Once Fear was down, they probably should have been focusing Cassia. Well done. But yeah, I think the taunt actually set up the fight the best. I mean, I respect your opinions when it comes to Epic Mount versus Wind Tunnel. But I do think that Epic Mount in that instance gives them the ability to juke them out a bunch. It splits up the team fight, of course. And it keeps that 5-man away from each other as they can't keep up with the ability to rotate. But hey, and Wind Tunnel didn't do anything in that last fight, so... You know. I guess results are not proof enough. Well played on both sides, though. Definitely saw some good play coming out from both teams there. So I'll pop back up the stats again while I set up the interview. Microwave. Okay. Okay. That's okay.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great.
Welcome back to the stream, Mr. Munkus.
Well, thank you very much.
It was a nail-biter match between you two there. ReGen Phoenix really trying to get those playoff points. How'd you guys feel when it went overall?
Well, we were kind of kicking ourselves for not recognizing the Juice Pirates setup in game 2.
Yeah, it did feel like you kind of didn't realize it was there until you kind of full committed to what you wanted to do on the map. And then you just weren't left with a whole lot of tools to deal with what they were trying to do.
Well, I think that if we had been a little bit better about our targets during one of those medevacs on our core, that we would have survived with like a couple percentage left, and we could have pushed bottom and won it there.
I do feel that you guys were really low on the siege side, though. It made it kind of difficult to push advantages, even if you get the kills on big maps for the rotation. So I wouldn't take that loss too hard. It was really kind of like, well, we go to their side of the map and they still spawn fast enough and juice pirates again, then we're not in position to defend this, and we lose anyways. So it's just kind of like, what do you do in that kind of situation? But Game 1 went pretty well for you guys for the most part. You didn't focus too hard on the race aspect of things, a little bit more for the team fight, and that seemed to work out for you. Got a little hairy, but
we did outrace them. It's something that we realized about halfway through the game, is that we were outracing them. Because Raynor didn't take Exterminator, so that like cuts his race in half.
Fair point. And you guys had the Tyrande, which helped out.
Yeah, the Tyrande Hanzo.
Yeah, I mean, I'll run Exterminator in a lot of those situations if you don't have something like Tyrande on your side. If you have Tyrande on your side, then it doesn't really matter. You can kind of just... They still have pretty good race with Artanis and stuff like that. 1-for-1 if everyone is on it at the same time. I don't know necessarily who's better there, but you guys definitely did win it out in the late game in a lot of those situations. Whether it was rotations and other things like that, it's kind of hard to see. From my point of view, it looked like it was a little bit more... In the early game, they were getting onto the objective faster than you guys. In the second half of the game, you guys were applying enough macro pressure that caused them to be slow on those rotations, and that's actually what allowed you to guys get ahead a lot into those objective fights.
Yeah, we were being a little lackadaisical with our rotations to start out with, but we just got a better macro sense as the game went on. Yeah. And really, when you have a Maiev on your team, it's really a pre-10, post-10 kind of situation. Like, as soon as we hit 10 and I had Cage, like, every time I dropped a Cage, somebody died on their team. And, yeah.
It was. The Cages were oppressive. Even the Dragon Strike, which is not something I generally take, got some pretty good value in a lot of those situations. Game number 1 looked strong for you guys. Game number 2 was a Juice Pirates that worked. So really the clincher of the match came down to game number 3, and we weren't disappointed. It was a pretty tight match through and through. Were you concerned at all in any of those maps? Did you feel like you had control over the game fully, or did a few of those calls go a little awry?
I mean, by match 3, I've been sick lately, and I was feeling pretty bad by game 3, and I played terribly that game. I think I died 4 times when I really shouldn't have, and I think I only had like 1 or 2 good horrifies. So I'd like to thank my team for putting me on their back and carrying me through that game, because holy crap, I played terribly.
Mega Muffin got some incredible value on the Cassia pick. In fact, in a lot of those fights, I was kind of reminiscing about whether the focus on you was unwarranted. They probably should have been trying to kill the Cassia, who was tearing apart their backline in almost every team fight.
Well, Cassia is super tanky, and Gul'dan is not. And I think that was what they were like looking at, was like... And also, I was out of position a lot, and they were taking advantage of that. They focused me down pretty fast, even through the healing and such. They had a pretty good ult combo that they went off to keep me stunned and locked into place for a pretty long time. So, yeah, I don't think it was necessarily a mistake to go after me first, but they did need to, like, be wary of the Cassia and the Valkyrie pulls. I think that, like, when Mega got a Valkyrie pull off onto their team, that would just change the entire dynamic of the fight.
Yeah, although, well, we'll say that it came down to the wire there in the last team fight. You guys were definitely ahead structurally, but the beginning of that fight didn't go well with the solo fear onto a Johanna who just traded out of it. But
yeah, the good reactions on Arrow there, like I said, I was not doing very well in that game.
My point being, though, is Falstad came in for a close range wind tunnel on 5 of you, and had that gotten off, I don't think that fight would have gone your way. But Ginger Boy popped out a epic taunt that just threw that out of the window and managed to be able to kind of secure the fight. Well, again, you did go down, but Cassia was doing so much work on the back line that it kind of closed out the fight. You know, very good the clutch capabilities, and of course the previous setup you guys up to that point with the pickoff on Sonya and everything else definitely helped secure the win. So, but it was hard fought, and I was impressed that ReGen Phoenix was able to bring it up to a top 3 team like yourselves. And but you know, you guys showed a lot of, you know, what I've seen plenty of times before. That you guys play, you know, Dragonshire very well, and you have a good understanding of how the map works.
Yeah, I mean, Dragonshire is one of our best maps, I think, statistically. We have, like, a lot of different comps that we run on this map, and I think people are banning out Sylvanas now, so we're just using some of our other Dragonshire comps.
Yeah, if you can get it, right? Sylvanas is one of those heroes that changes a lot of how you have to approach the game, and any heroes that do that, Medivh is a good example of one that does that a lot. Zeratul is another one. Samuro, any of those heroes that do get through and are played well, generally force the enemy team to play the game they don't want to play. So I can see why the bans are coming out against you guys, but the adaptations in the draft were pretty good and definitely put you in a good spot. Who do you guys have to have remaining for the rest of the season here? I know I mentioned it on Nexus Edge, but I, for the life of me, can't remember it.
We have Buff Chin, Mosh Pit, and Minion Miners.
Okay, so Buff Chen, you know, no offense to them or anything like that, should be a victory for you guys. Trump, though, has been looking pretty good. How you feeling about that matchup?
Well, I place my confidence in my team.
It's a good answer, I guess. Anyways, I'm not gonna hold you here too much longer. You sound like you're tired, man.
Yeah, like I said, I've been sick all week.
No problem. I get it. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and do the shoutouts then?
All right, shoutouts to my team, Mega Muffin, Gingy Boy, Secret, Sidley, and Fox. Shoutouts to Arrogant Nephilim, our sister team, and thank you for casting our games, Zilto. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I always enjoy it. Beast Coast, I've scrimmed and played enough to know that you guys are a solid squad. ReGen Phoenix is full of players and members on that team that I get along with very well personally. So this was a money match for me, and I'm so happy, even if you're not, that it went to 3 games, because it was good to see both teams that I respect a lot getting a lot of work done and giving us all a really good show. So thank you so much for that, and you have a good night.
All right, you too.
That's going to be it for me today. I was feeling like getting in on replay cast, so I might be back here in just a moment, but it is late. I'm not entirely certain how many people really want to stick around for that. But I'm going to close down the stream for now and throw a host over to whoever's available at the moment. And just keep an eye out on NGS, Discord, or anything like that to see if I pop back up tonight. If I don't do tonight, I'll probably get it done tomorrow or on Tuesday. I've just had some things come up, and I'm in a state where it's a little difficult for me to do all of the really replay casts I signed up for. But I am going to get them done. They will be finished sometime in the next 3 days. So, or today, tomorrow, or Tuesday. So. Well, I've signed up for 2 so far. I was hoping to get more, though. There's a few more sitting in there. So. Yeah. But regardless, I'm going to shut down the stream now so I can readjust all of the other stuff like that. So do stick around if you guys are interested in watching a couple replay casts. It's just some Div D teams, which is nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Div D is a great division to cast. They're usually a lot of fun. So. I may be right back, guys. Anyways, see you soon.